The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
You are listening to the 1420 Sports Bar Podcast. 4 beer with a sports talk and a whole lot more. We are part of the Belly Up Sports Network. Listen in as Brent and Dave invite you to belly up to the bar with them to talk about everything in the world of sports, just like you would do at your favorite watering hole. It's sports, beer, and shenanigans, so belly up to the bar with us, grab a beverage, and let's get into it.
The 1420 Sports Bar Podcast, 4 beer sports talk, and a whole lot more on this second day of August 2023. Tonight's show is brought to you by SeatGeek.com, the SeatGeek app. Use promo code 1420pod at SeatGeek.com and save yourself $20 on your first purchase at the SeatGeek.com or on the app today. Dave, we're into August. The summer's not winding down, but it's getting to that point. We're having a discussion. Went for a pregame beverage with the wife there over at Brown's there, and we were deciding what to eat prior to. Do you have the same problem? Like, you and Kaylee have been together for a long time, and now you have Jasper in the wings there for 13 years or whatever it's been now. Do you have problems when it gets into summer? Like, what are we eating tonight? Especially when it's summer months. Like, what do we have? Me and Deanna was like, what are we eating? What do we got? What are we eating? Because we had that all the time. We're having a hell of a time figuring it out.
No, and we talk about how we're going to have problems with it during the summer, because the last thing you want to do after being in the heat all fucking day is turn on a stove or turn on an oven. And even in standing in front of the barbecue is a little punitive. Yeah. Right. Like, if we're going to barbecue, I barbecue before my showers, and no, I got to sit there stinky. A meal tastes better when you're clean. I don't know, unless you're. I never thought that.
It's a very good point. Yeah.
Unless you're ravenous, right? Like, lunch, you can eat anywhere, right? Breakfast, you're out of bed. Like, you better be clean because you just went to bed and slept. So I'm hoping you're clean. But supper, unless you're ravenous, it tastes better when you're clean. And I don't want to stand outside there fucking barbecuing steak or burgers or chicken when I'm clean.
And then it's what you're eating afterwards. It's hot, it's not hot, like it's salad and this and that, like whatever you're gonna have. And you can't have a fucking a hearty stew on the second day of August, because it's just like, what the hell am I doing here? Although it fills you up pretty good. Like, eating in the summer is tough because you can only eat so many hot dogs and hamburgers and steaks or chicken, whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's tough. It is. It's tough.
You're right. And my wife is really good because she cuts up fruit. Like, I buy it. I do the grocery shopping, but we have cherries, we have cantaloupe, we have watermelon, like, all cut up. So all you need is a fucking toothpick, and you can go nuts as long as
I don't eat fruit.
You should give cantaloupe and watermelon a rip, man.
I think watermelon is the most overrated thing on the planet. I think you just have it because you're supposed to in summertime. I don't eat fruit.
Okay, well,
I'm not against it. I don't eat fruit.
Well, you should try it. You should try watermelon on a hot summer day, because it's
this weekend down in Old Havre, Montana.
They'll have some Moses Lake watermelon there. Right?
Who knows what's going to happen in Havre for 6 days down there? My God! But anyways, Dave, the Major League Baseball trade deadline came and went yesterday. We won't get into the ins and outs and ups and downs of the whole thing, because really, I think a few teams made some moves that might help them win a World Series or get in the playoffs. Some teams decided to stand still. But the polarizing situation, I think, between my ears, was the New York Metropolitans. Mets are going to Met no matter what. They on their $300 million payroll, plus what they're going to be paying in the Steve Cohen, the multi-billionaire, he's going to be paying upwards of $400 million by the time the season's all said and done, with the tax he's going to pay and everything else. They went and they cleaned house. They got rid of David Robertson. I think it was last Thursday, their closer, because Diaz got hurt in the World Baseball Classic. And then on Sunday, you had Max Scherzer going to the Texas Rangers. And then yesterday they had Justin Verlander going back to the Houston Astros. That's $300 million with an M. $300 million gone. and on a fifth place in division team or fourth, whatever it is, because Washington's worse. $300 million gone with no hope in sight.
Isn't this the owner we all want? Like, he wasn't afraid to take a big swing. Like, we were happy for him. Well, not happy. We scratched our heads signing two 40-year-olds to anchor your team, and it didn't work out. But then he cut his losses. I don't fucking care. Money is not an object. Get those fuckers out of here. We'll figure it out next year. They had some bad luck. I'll say that. The Mets, like, I'm a casual Mets fan.
Follower.
The 1986 Mets is my favorite baseball team of all time.
That's a long time ago.
It was a long time ago, but I do remember watching those motherfuckers celebrating that World Series. I remember
Vividly.
watching. I do. I remember watching that ball go through Bill Buckner's legs. I remember that. And that's when I became a fan of that team. Well, they were immensely talented, but, like, let's not talk about 16-year-old me. Let's talk about this team. This is the owner I want. Fuck it. Didn't work. Ship them off. Money don't, like, they're paying, I think, 90% of Scherzer's salary to go to Texas.
I don't know. They're actually paying that, and they're paying more for Verlander to end up with the Houston Astros. What's funny about the Astros thing is the Astros didn't want to get in a bidding war with the Mets in the offseason for Verlander, and now, because it got to 35, 40, 45 million bucks, whatever it is, and now the Mets are paying for Verlander to pitch for the Houston Astros for a price that they said they wouldn't pay for. It's unbelievable.
It is. It's remarkable, but like I say, I don't. When you have pockets that deep, and all he wants to do is fucking win, and then someone that knows more about baseball said to him, like, "Well, we tried. Like, like, I couldn't control this. Okay, fucking trade him." And now they got assets. You know what? Which is going to mean more 5 years down the road. And if this owner wants to build,
I'm quite shocked, Dave, that you're so pro these moves that happen. Like, I thought you'd be like, oh my God, the fucking Mets are gonna met more than Mets have ever mattered before. Like,
I'm
the other way around on this. Like, what a fucking train wreck, and you're like, yeah, good.
Like, well, like, what are they gonna do, right? This is the owner you want. He took a huge swing and signed all these free agents. He didn't pay for DeGrom, who's been on the DL for, well, he's gone.
Whatever.
All 10 starts of his, and Texas wanted to do that. I'm like, fuck it. Let's Control Alt Delete. Let's try and see what we can do next year. I'm willing to spend, and I want to fucking win. And now we have prospects. So I think it's a win.
What I find odd about the whole situation was, like, how these conversations can go from GM to GM and team to team, whatever it might be, and that trade deadline conversation between GMs and CEOs and owners must be absolutely remarkable. The conversation, because you got to think that whoever, I can't remember the name of the Mets GM, but he must have carte blanche to do whatever he wants. He has to. Because for that conversation to happen, where it's like, okay, Steve, obviously our team's not doing very good. We don't have a very good farm system. Are you okay with us? Are you okay with us just giving DeGrom or not Scherzer and Verlander away, and you'll pay for their salary too? Yep, 100%. Like, it's crazy to me.
It is ridiculous to me as well, but we say this all the time about if you want to swing dicks, let's swing dicks. Fuck it. I do not care. Get rid of them. You have 2 more years. These prospects better work. And you know more about baseball than I do. All I'm here is to sign checks. And that's what Steve Cohen has said. Like, and it's clear. It's clear. I love him. He's the new Steinbrenner. He doesn't know.
He's above Steinbrenner, man. This guy's unbelievable.
Well, but he doesn't. I don't think he's putting all he's doing is being convinced to sign checks. And he really wants to win. And I think Steinbrenner had his influence of who he liked and who he didn't like. Not that I don't know this Cohen guy, like what kind of influence he has over the actual personnel decisions.
Yeah.
But I do believe like he's all in on winning, and that much is clear. And I think this is a great thing for the fan base. And on that note, I keep saying closet Mets fan. I'm a Mets fan. I like the Mets. I'm not. I don't care. I don't lose sleep. I don't watch every game.
Yeah, you're not buying a hat and a jersey every fucking week, but yeah, I know what you're saying.
Correct. But Buck Showalter can fuck right off. I've always hated that motherfucker. I hated him when he was with the Yankees. I hated him when he was with Baltimore. I think he's the Mike Keenan of the MLB, and his way of doing things has passed. I'm not saying he's dumb.
The thing with Showalter, he's tried to alter his ways and grow with the game a little bit and everything else, and he's tried to become a different manager, because it's a different game nowadays, and you're managing different personalities than they were, like we talked about a few weeks ago. That the different personalities in the game now, right? It's just a different sort of kid. The kids don't compete for the team; they compete for themselves, right? And he tried to get that, and it didn't happen. And I think the Steve Cohen kind of when the Mets hired Showalter, they were hoping that maybe he would be able to conform to new player. It just never happened. It's just the Mets met at it like no other Mets teams met at it before. Like you got to say that $400 million, like you said, it doesn't mean nothing to that guy, but $500 million, still $500 million. Like I don't give a fuck. And if your interest is going to be okay, you're like, I'm sure Steve Cohen's fine. He's not too worried where his next paycheck's coming from. But it's a swing and a miss with that baseball team. That the Mets fans got to be thinking, okay, we went in all in this year. We won 101 games last year. I'm talking as a Mets fan. We won 101 games last year. We kind of shit the bed in the playoffs, and then we went out and got the Cy Young Award winner, and
it did work.
And committed to 80 million. No, actually, when it's all said and done, I think it's 161 or 171 million bucks for two pitchers who are in their 40s to go for it, and it just didn't work. And like how the fuck is that even a thing?
Don't you think that discussion was had before they signed them both? Like, I don't know.
I would hope so.
Yeah, and then Cohen, like this tells me like Cohen was okay the risk reward. And then when Diaz went down in the World Baseball Classic and he was gone, I get it. He's just a closer, but a closer is a pretty important part of a team. And just
if you're behind by 15 runs every fucking game, it doesn't matter, right?
But it doesn't matter, right? When your two quote unquote studs aren't pulling the weight.
Because Verlander wasn't missing many bats this season.
No,
right.
And he was hurt for a long time too, right? So I honestly I applaud it. Like, this is the owner of the team saying, I don't give a fuck. Let's win a World fucking Series. And that conversation had to have taken place, like, because they said, like, well, I don't know if DeGrom said no. I don't know what they offered DeGrom before he went to Texas, but for DeGrom to say no, Texas is going to offer me more, and then like, okay, fuck, we're going to see. Yeah, you only got 20 starts in you, anyways, bud. I love you.
But DeGrom's a bigger asset, I think, in my opinion, than those two Hall of Fame guys are at that point in the career. In my opinion.
Yeah,
well, he's always hurt, but I suppose there's that too, hurt. Right?
Yeah, he's the filthiest of filthy.
When he's healthy, he's the best pitcher in baseball.
I agree.
I don't think that's achievable.
Yeah, but like, can you pencil him in for 30 starts a year?
Jesus, like
I don't know, man. It's risk reward.
You just like I wonder. Like, let's do a little, like we do the role play thing every couple of 3 months. We talk about thing, and I find it fascinating how these conversations must happen between a GM and an owner and another GM. Dave, I'll be the Mets GM, whatever his name is, and I want you to play the role of the Astros GM, or to take your pick and do the Rangers GM, whatever you want to do. I'll make a call to you, and here we go. Hey, Dave, GM of the Mets here. We're not very good. We have a couple of Hall of Fame pitchers available to you. Which one do you want?
Well, I'm Texas here. I don't want to. I don't want to try and rip you off here, but if Scherzer's available, what are you asking for him?
Well, what I want is you guys to obviously we paid him a lot. He's making $40 million a year, so I don't think we want to do that. And like, I think maybe the best thing that we could do to help your team, because you guys are in a World Series hunt right now, you're first place in your division. Can you possibly give us the best prospect that you guys got?
Yeah, sure, we'll do that. But of that 40 million, I'd like you guys to eat 35 million of that if you could.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if I can do that.
Well, the Astros are on the other line asking about Verlander. Do you want me? I can do something about that too.
So you want us to give you a Hall of Fame pitcher who's still pretty good? Do you want us to hand your World Series for no money at all?
Oh no, I want you to pay for 3/4 of his salary, because he's not going to be. Because we're going to have to eat that second year that you asshats fucking signed him for. So we'll let you eat the majority of this salary, and then we'll eat all of next year's salary.
So you want me to pay $35 million for this year, and then 40 for next year, or whatever, a percentage of that. You want me to pay for that for a guy who hasn't played in the big leagues yet?
Yeah.
Let me call the boss.
How else does that happen?
Think about how ridiculous that is.
The Mets are paying 3/4 of his salary for him to pitch against them.
I read today, Dave, that the Mets paid for 89 innings of Scherzer and Verlander. 89 innings. And they might be on the hook from anywhere, because if Verlander meets some numbers next year for innings pitched, they might pay anywhere from $171 million to $189 million for 89 innings pitched. And they got 3 guys back from that. The return on the investment, the ROI, is 3 prospects.
That's awesome. I love it. The players are getting paid, and this is an owner I want. Cut bait. He's cutting bait. This isn't working.
I'm surprised you went that way with that. I really am.
Right. Because what would you rather do? Do the Cashman way? No. No. Honestly, would you prefer the Yankees did this? Fuck off. You fuck off. Donaldson, you fuck off. IKF, you fuck off. That right fielder, you guys are always left fielder. You guys. Well, you don't have a left fielder.
Don't have a left fielder, third baseman, or shortstop, or
yeah.
catcher.
Yeah, and all you guys just fuck off. We'll eat your salary, and then we'll eat some picks, and oh no, we're in it to win it. But
wouldn't it scare you? Because let's say if you
doesn't scare me at all as a fan. I want this. I want an owner that this is a fucking failure.
And then try again next year.
And try again next year. And money is not an option. It's not an object. I will pay. I'll fucking pay. And this is what we say all the time. This is what we want in sports. If an owner wants to win, fucking let him open up the checkbook and start signing fucking checks. I prefer this method, these 2-year overpaid deals. Okay, get the fuck out. This doesn't work. As opposed to these 12-year deals for $500 zillion. I much prefer this method as trying to build a team.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. You just think how the fuck I've always and this goes back actually about 20, 30 years, and when we used to talk actually sitting around a bar talking about deals that GMs make and owners make, and the conversations that have. The ones that make me actually, it happens in hockey a lot more than any other sport, is the the 3-team deals. Like those ones are mesmerizing to me. You get me this guy, I'll give you this guy.
And I think that's more about
I
managing
don't like
salary.
I don't like
Yeah.
you, so you get me this guy. I'll figure it out. I'm not dealing with Larry fucking Robinson or whoever the fuck or Lou Lamoriello or whatever. Those ones, like, to be a GM in sports would be the best job. A hard job, but it would be the best job in the world, wouldn't it?
I imagine there's some sleepless nights, right? Like when they're going through an 8-game winless streak, or like when times are tough and like, fuck, this team looks good on paper. Like me and the coach and the owner are
You're gonna
all
need
on the
more
same
full
page.
scout, man. Fuck me.
This should work, but it's not. When things should work and it doesn't work, this Mets team that was assembled in the off season. Even I think you and I even kind of joked about it with like signing these geriatrics to their pitching staff. Is like, fuck, really? This? Like we didn't have faith in that.
No,
We didn't. You
really
and I.
didn't.
No, and like, and the money they were given, like, really, like this? You think this is gonna work? And it didn't. And he's cutting bait. And that's why I think this is great. And in the in Major League Baseball, you can do that. You don't have the same kind of luxury of, I don't know. I don't know if literally giving a guy $30 million is a luxury, but if you have $30 million laying around on your couch and you can give it to a guy to play for another team, then do it. If money's not an object, then money's not an object.
That's the most mind-blowing thing to me about this whole the Verlander situation, is that the Mets outbid the Astros for a Cy Young winner that played for the Astros last year. One of
Icon. He like they I'm not
with
going to
the
say
Astros.
Yeah.
And they got outbid, and now the Mets are paying Verlander to go back to a World Series team to do the same fucking thing.
Yeah.
It's mind-blowing to me.
It blows me away too, but I love it. I love it.
For two prospects that will never, I shouldn't say never because we don't know.
We don't
prospects.
know.
We have no idea.
Right.
But I would put whatever on it that those the two prospects aren't going to the Hall of Fame, and those two prospects probably won't make $171 million combined in their careers.
But here's what I'm going to say too. Imagine what it must be able to feel like to say, like, hey, I paid you guys to do this. You didn't do that. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah, but you're paid. Get the fuck out of here. Get out. Go. Don't let the door hit you on the ass on the way out. And, to be able to say that to Scherzer and Verlander, that would be awesome to be able to say that to someone. Of like, Hall of Famers, probably, like,
they're both Hall of Famers, yeah.
Yeah. To tell two Hall of Famers, to sign two Hall of Famers, and to tell two Hall of Famers, get the fuck out of here.
Time to go.
You guys fucking.
We're rebuilding with a $300 million payroll.
You fucking suck. Get out of here.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
Checks in the mail. Get lost.
Is the Mets GM job the best job in baseball? Because it's carte blanche.
Right now it is, but let's talk in 2 years, right?
Fuck.
He tried and he swung hard, but they had some bad luck. I think, he's only a closer, but Diaz, the way he went down, that's a blow, right? Like everybody comes into spring, like, everybody was in spring training.
Yeah.
That sucks. That sucks for the team. And now you come in under a cloud, and then DeGrom's gone, and then you got these two geriatrics who have no connection with the team. They're just hired guns. It'd be tough. And you got Buck Showalter, who I imagine is just a fucking red ass walking around all the time. Like I said, I think he's pretty overrated as a manager.
Hasn't won much, really, when it comes down to it.
He hasn't won fuck all.
Been around the game forever, but hasn't won.
Yeah, he's made the ALCS a couple times, and that's it.
Yeah.
He's always American League. Has he been in the National League before? I think this is his first National League job.
I would say no, probably not. But yeah.
No, sorry, but not that it matters. But I think Buck can fuck off too, right? He's underachieved, and players get tired of him. He's a Mike Keenan, Daryl Sutter type coach without the trophies.
Has there been a
Excuse me.
worse season in your we didn't prep for this question I'm going to ask you before the show. Has there been a worse season in North American professional sports that you can think of where a team spent that much money and the expectations were high that went so fucking south? That can you think of any team that's underachieved as much as this year's New York Metropolitans?
Probably not. Not like you said. I didn't know this question was coming. No, I don't. Well, maybe this year's San Diego Padres, but
well, that's a good point, Dave. Like the Padres have spent $300 million, like 280 or whatever it is, and on, but they kind of get a free pass because they're on the West Coast. Everybody's in bed right now.
But yeah, why do they get
like all the
pass,
East Coast
right?
are in bed right now, and they're not talking about because the Mets are the Mets, right? So everybody talks about the Mets because they're in the biggest.
They're in New York, right?
But yeah. Like really, when you come down to it, you look at what the fucking money the fucking Padres have spent this year, and all the stars they have all stars up and down the lineup. Like
it's
like,
kind of the same roster as the Mets, right?
The Padres are better than the Mets, really.
Yeah,
and no one talks bull about them because everybody's in bed on the East Coast, and we don't hear about them.
And they're not cutting bait either, right? Like they're saying, no, we're still in it. We're still in it. We're still in it. Is what they're saying.
They're not in it.
I can't believe that.
I think they're
right?
4.5, 5.5 out of a wild card spot, and that's a lot of teams to jump and everything else. I mean, Jesus Christ, it'd be tough being a Mets fan, or it'd be tough being a Padres fan. We're like, okay, why is it so bad every fucking year?
It's just a thing, right? Like a fucking Browns fan in the NFL, a fucking
Flames fan in Calgary,
Flames fan in Calgary. Like this looks way better on paper than it does like as we're going through things. And then like, what do? You change coaches again. You do this again. Like we at least in baseball, like they only signed them for 2 years, and you can sell guns for 2 years, right?
Yeah.
But like you can't do that in hockey. You can't do that in football. Football is the weakest fucking trade deadline sport of all of them.
They must be doing things in visible ink because it fucking, I tell you what, it looks good on paper. So the ink's not very good because Jesus Christ, to miss that badly. Like it's
but they
and I don't care about the owners, like whether they got money to burn, whatever. But for the fans, you're like, Jesus, this is the year, and like, no, not once again, it's not.
What do you think the owner of Pittsburgh Pirates is like looking at? Like, holy shit, I don't even have anybody to trade. Like, and he's throwing around 300. Like, he's paying 2 guys to play for other teams more than my fucking payroll.
For 2 more years.
For 2 more years. That's my fucking payroll. He's paying these fucking assholes to play for somebody else.
And to maybe hand a World Series to somebody else.
And I'm sending out greeting cards. Come to the greatest ballpark in the Major League Baseball. Rated best ballpark in Major League Baseball. Come see our park. Come see our park.
Don't come see our team.
Don't come see our team because you're gonna fucking you're gonna watch a bunch of people fucking take dumps on bases. And this asshole is now spending more money to pit 2 pitchers to play for other teams.
$171 million it might cost him.
It's remarkable
to not pitch for their team.
And then, like I say,
for 3 prospects who might never play in the major leagues of baseball.
Better work out, otherwise that's when you get nervous as a GM. And then because like
3 guys,
you got all the money in the world behind you, and you got to sell the owner on it. But when you make trades like this, like one of these guys better work out. One of these guys better work out, right? And then that's
$71 million to not play there.
Play there.
Fuck me. For 3 guys who might not also play there.
That's a lot of dinero. That is
whatever Steve Cohen's business is. I hope it flourishes because so far his his venture into the Major League Baseball ownership thing has not went very well. It hasn't.
Well,
Good on him, whatever.
The real results are, and his intentions are pure, right? He wants to win, and there's nothing more I love more than an owner that wants to win and is not afraid to sign the checks. And that would piss me off so much as a Pittsburgh fan, as a KC fan, as a Milwaukee fan. Obviously, this is New York, but this is so what he's doing is what Jerry Jones is trying to do with the Cowboys. But now Cohen has given his GM the ability to say, fuck it, this isn't working. Let's try again.
And that's the one thing that the Mets fans can hang their hat on, is that they know that their owner means it, right? And they okay, look, he doesn't care. And I think Mets fans can take some solace in that and saying, well, next year's not 10 years from now, right?
Yeah,
we're not always going to be rebuilding. We're going to regroup and try again next year. And I think it's Mets fans can say, well, let's give it a shot, right?
Because they do have pieces there, right? It's just a matter, and at the end of the day, too, it's
crazy.
There's a little bit of luck involved in any kind of magical season, right? Yeah. Like an injury here and there, and I think this Diaz thing started him off on the wrong foot, but
the old karma thing kind of happened, right? So one of those things, but
yeah. Whereas Cashman think the Yankees are in it to win it, and I shared that clip with you, and they're not. They're ready. They're in it to win it. I heard the GM say they're in it to win it.
No, he's lying. But anyways, the 1420 Sports Bar Podcast. Look how I got rid of that one right away. The 1420 Sports Bar Podcast. 4 Beer Sports Talking a whole lot more. This thing was brought to you by SeatGeek and the SeatGeek app. Use promo code 1420POD at SeatGeek.com today and save till $20. Don't buy Yankee tickets anyways at SeatGeek.com. $180 million to not play there. It's fucking nuts. It's nuts.
Oh, I would love the ability to sign that check, right? $180 million.
I will try.
Oh, you know what? I gotta try. Maybe I'm gonna do that as a business plan to never. How much would you pay to never see me again?
I bet you Deanne would pay pretty good money for that.
Really? Like $100?
75.
We'll talk. My people.
You just listened to the 1420 Sports Bar Podcast. 4 Beer with Sports Talking a whole lot more. We are part of the Belly Up Media Network. Let's get into it.